We introduce a solution to a large-scale augmented reality for outdoor scenes by registering camera images to a textured digital elevation models called DEMs. This is done by cross-domain descriptor matching of key points from the photograph and the DEM render. This allows us to estimate precise camera pose with respect to the rendered terrain. The estimated camera pose can be used to augment the photograph with novel information such as contour lines rendered here in white. We cast this problem as a camera pose estimation with respect to the rendered digital elevation model textured with satellite orthophoto imagery. Traditionally, camera pose can be found using the family of perspective endpoint algorithms given accurate correspondences between the image and the 3D model. Accurate correspondences can be automatically retrieved using descriptor matching. However, traditional descriptors like SIFT have difficulties to retrieve correct correspondences in our cross-domain scenario. This is due to the significant differences in appearance between the photograph and the rendered terrain model. To solve this problem, we propose an approach to train a cross-domain descriptor capable to close the gap between the appearance of the photograph and the rendered imagery. We designed a compact architecture capable of running on a recent iPhone. The key problem is to obtain enough photographs aligned with the DEM. Since manual annotation is tedious, researchers usually use structure for motion algorithms to build extensive computer vision datasets. However, state-of-the-art structure for motion pipelines are prone to drift and are usually not able to produce precise reconstructions of large-scale outdoor scenes. Imprecise reconstruction could be hardly aligned with the digital terrain model since they won't fit. We overcome this issue by proposing a novel technique called structure for motion with terrain reference. We start by downloading ground-level imagery from the region of interest from an online service such as Flickr.com. For the whole region of interest, we render ground-level synthetic panorama images sampled on a regular grid. In the third step, we extract key points from the rendered images, and in the fourth step, we use a known terrain geometry to obtain a 3D point cloud from the rendered terrain. In the fifth step, we use a pre-existing feature descriptor D2net to extract key points and descriptors from the downloaded photographs, which are matched with each other and also with the renders. This allows us to localize the downloaded photographs into the 3D point cloud as the sixth step. Please note that the photo-to-photo matching is important to successfully localize images which have no direct matches with the terrain. While parameters of the photographs and the 3D points are optimized during the structure for motion step, the parameters of the rendered cameras are fixed since they are already known. Here we show an example of the structure for motion reconstruction with the terrain reference. 3D points from the terrain model and the cameras sampled on the regular grid are prevalent. Cameras out of the grid are photographs localized to the terrain model. This process creates accurate alignments of the query photographs to the rendered terrain. See some examples from the European Alps, Chamonix. Using more than 16,000 of images automatically aligned by this technique, we train our compact convolutional neural network architecture using standard triplet loss. For each pair of photograph and render in the dataset, we need to sample corresponding positive and non-corresponding negative patches. The positive patches are obtained by unprojecting the pixels from the ground truth imagery to the 3D space based on a depth map from the rendered DEM. Only 3D points visible in both views are kept, and corresponding patches are uniformly sampled. The negatives are sampled within each mini-batch from non-corresponding pairs. To allow efficient training, we use a random semi-hard mining with a curriculum which allows us to gradually increase training difficulty. This is important since simply choosing the hardest negative, similarly to HardNet, forces the embedding to collapse into a singular point. For more details, see our paper. We compare our method on the target application of pose estimation. Here we show the comparison on the test set of the GeoPose 3K dataset, which contains images of the European Alps. We visualize the cumulative error plot with the optimal system located at the top left corner. In the left plot, we visualize the positional error, and the right plot contains cumulative rotation error. Networks trained with our approach and data are denoted with dashed curve, and competitive methods not trained on our data are denoted with solid color. Please note that our approach surpasses the original HardNet and the state-of-the-art D2Net by a large margin. Also, although the VGG16D2FT denoted here as dashed green curve is the VGG16 pre-trained using D2Net and then fine-tuned on our data, our much smaller two-branch network trained from scratch seems to perform still a bit better. We also compared the generalization on several datasets across the whole Earth. We can see that the results remain consistent also on other datasets: Nepal in Asia, Andes Huascaran in the Southern America, and Yosemite Valley in the Northern America. We may also notice the poor performance of SIF descriptor on our cross-domain task. Please note that for the GeoPose 3K and Yosemite datasets, we use a DEM with high resolution, approximately 30 meters per pixel, and for Nepal and Andes Huascaran, we use DEM with the resolution 90 meters per pixel. This corresponds with the slope of the curves. It is more steep and closer to zero on GeoPose 3K and Yosemite. Furthermore, we analyzed how far the rendered panorama images from the query photograph must be in order to still be able to localize the query photograph. The baseline denotes the distance between the ground truth location and the rendered panorama. The rendered panorama was offset from the ground truth location by additive Gaussian noise with 0 mean and 1000 meters standard deviation. In the left bar plot, we measure the percentage of query photographs for which the position estimated by our method was closer than the sampled one, denoted by green color. We see that we are consistently able to improve images up to approximately 1000 meters. On the right plot, we visualize the cumulative percentage of the sampled positions in yellow compared to the cumulative percentage of positions estimated by our algorithm in red. We can see that the crossover point is at the baseline of approximately 700 meters. To illustrate the practical use case of our cross-domain camera pose estimation method, we implemented an iPhone application which renders the terrain given on board GPS, compass, accelerometer, and gyroscope sensors, and is then armed with our method for cross-domain camera pose refinement. Here we show a screen-recorded session with our application. When the initial camera orientation or position is inaccurate, as shown here, our application is able to find a better alignment using our cross-domain matching followed by camera pose estimation using perspective endpoint method. Thank you for your attention and see you at the ECCV 2020 online.